Hello, welcome to Dibs on Blue. I'm Stephanie Jessup, and this is my sign name. Today, I want to show how to play Exchange. Thank you to my patrons and to the publisher Games by Bicycle for sponsoring this video. This game is for 3 to 6 players and takes around 30 to 45 minutes to play. Throughout the game, players will be analyzing the stock market, making exchanges, buying low, selling high, and predicting changes, etc. This game is 5 rounds, and after the last round, the player with the highest net value wins. To set up, place the market value board in the middle of the table. Place the 15 market force cards to the left of the board. In the lobbyist card sleeve, put 3 phase 3 cards. Banks +1, -1, bonds +1, -1, and insurance +1, -1. Then place the cards in the sleeve to the right of the board. Separate the money into their 3 stacks. There are 3 securities: banks, which are blue, bonds, which are green, and insurance, which are red. Each security starts at a value of $50. The white triangle, which is the round token, should be placed on the number 1 spot. Give each player a ledger board and 3 phase sleeves. In the phase 1 sleeve, you should have banks, bonds, and insurance. In the phase 2 sleeve, you should have cards numbered 1 to 9. In the phase 3 sleeve, you should have the 3 phase 3 cards, like these here. Deal all of the founder cards around the table to the players until there aren't any cards left. Then pick up the cards and decide which one you wish to use during the game. Keep the one you choose and return the rest to the box. Your ledger board should match the values on your founder card. This tells you how many shares of each security you will start the game with. Also collect your starting money, which matches the amount on your founder card. Now you're ready to play. Each of the 5 rounds are divided into 3 phases. In the first phase, all players at the same time remove the cards from their phase 1 sleeves. Look at your cards and decide which security you wish to exchange: banks, bonds, or insurance. Maybe, for example, you choose insurance. Once you decide, place the card into the phase 1 sleeve so it sits in the front of the other cards. You want this information to be a secret for now, so place it face down. After all players have decided, it's time to reveal your choice so everyone can see what everyone else chose. Now it's time for phase 2, where all players at the same time remove the cards from their phase 2 sleeves. Look at your cards and decide what you want to do. Do you want to buy? Sell? How much? Maybe, for example, you decide to buy 4 shares. After deciding, place the card back in the phase 2 sleeve, face down as a secret. After all players have decided, it's time to reveal your choice for everyone to see if you're buying or selling. Finally, it's time for phase 3, where all players at the same time remove the cards from their phase 3 sleeves and decide what to do. Do you want the security you chose to increase or decrease? This will affect the market value board. In this example, maybe you decide you want to decrease insurance by 1. This again is a secret until everyone has decided. Then you can show everyone. Now, one market force card is drawn. This affects the market value board. For example, if this card is drawn, policy change. Insurance will decrease by 2. So the red triangle will move down 2 values on the market value board. Now all players collectively affect the market value board with their Phase 3 card. For example, you chose to decrease insurance 1. Another player chose to increase banks by 1, and another player chose to decrease banks by 1. Ultimately, insurance will decrease by 1 more, but the bank's value won't change at all. After the necessary changes are made to the market value board, players reveal their full Phase 2 cards. So if you're buying 4, that means you're buying 4 shares of the security you chose in Phase 1. So you'll be buying 4 shares of insurance, which is nice because you want to buy low and sell high. At this time, you'll change your ledger board to reflect what just happened by increasing your insurance 4. Now you'll have to pay. Each insurance share is sitting at $20 right now, so you'll have to fork over $80. If you can't pay because you don't have enough money, you'll need to liquidate. For example, if you were to liquidate 3 shares and each share is sitting at a value of $70, then you would collect half of that. So that's $35 multiplied by the 3 shares. But the last number has to be 0. To do this, simply round up. So you would collect $110 from the supply and have that money now available to pay whatever you need. If you liquidate everything and you still can't pay, then you're eliminated from the game. All players do this, figuring out what they need to pay if they're buying or how much they're collecting if they're selling. Also be aware that, for example, if you want to sell 5, but you only have 4 shares to sell, then you can't sell something you don't have. So you would just sell the 4 shares you have available. Anyway, the market has a bubble you can pop. For example, if insurance were to decrease 1 more, it would be $10. But if it decreases 1 more, the bubble pops. In this case, the insurance triangle would follow the green arrow all the way to the other side, and it would now be sitting at $90. It used to be really low, but now it's really high. The same thing happens for securities on the higher end. If banks are sitting at $90 and it increases 1 more, the bubble pops and the bank's triangle would follow the red arrow all the way to the other side, ending up at $10, which is now really low. It's important to note here that if you're playing a 3 or 4 person game, you want to use the $20 to $80 range rather than the $10 to $90 range. So that's a little change there. Also important to note is that any player at any time can pay $50 to secretly look at the top market force card and place it back on top of the stack. Now that player who paid knows what will happen. And so round 2 proceeds the same way. However, the player who has the most money can now control the lobbyist during that round. If players tie for the most money, then no one controls the lobbyist. If you control the lobbyist, take the sleeve. You can use a card in there to affect the market value board again as if it were a second action. For example, if round 2 starts and you happen to have the most money, take the lobbyist card. Then, during phase 1, you decide banks. Phase 2, you decide to sell 3. In phase 3, you decide to increase banks by 1. But now you have the lobbyist card to affect the market again. So you decide to increase banks by 1 more. You want the banks to be sitting high so you can buy low and sell high and make more money. The other players and the market force card may change the market value board and throw off your plan, but at least you tried. So the game continues like this until round 5 is complete and the market closes. At this time, each player can affect the market one final time, but no one will control the lobbyist. All players remove their phase 3 cards and choose one to affect the market. For example, maybe another player has a lot of shares in banks. So maybe you affect the market by decreasing the value of banks. You don't have a lot of shares in banks, so it won't affect you much. But you don't want the other player to earn a lot of money. Or maybe you want to play so you earn more money. You have a lot of shares in insurance, so maybe you decide to increase the value of insurance. Anyway, all players decide this secretly and only reveal their choices when everyone is ready. Make the necessary changes to the market value board and calculate your net worth. For example, at the game's end, you have 2 shares in banks, and each share is worth $20. Multiply that value by the 2 shares, and that's $40. You have 8 shares in bonds, and each share is sitting at $40. Multiplied by the 8 shares, that's $320. You have 12 shares in insurance, and each share is $70. Multiplied by the 12 shares, that's $840. Altogether, the money you've earned amounts to $380. So your net worth is $1,580. The player with the highest net worth is deemed the winner. Well, that's it for explaining exchange. Thanks again, patrons and Games by Bicycle. If you've enjoyed watching, subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when I post a new video. You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Dibs On Blue Games. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I will gladly respond. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.